Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Last week, some disappointing news hit the wire about Adrian Peterson. Apparently, he's fighting asset seizures and property seizures based on some loans he supposedly had taken out a few years back. And because of that, those people are trying to recoup their losses by selling some stuff that is valuable to Peterson. But Peterson is claiming that these things were taken from him illegally. So he is fighting that. Well, the loans in question total over $8 million. Well, if you made millions in your career, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for you to be taking out loans if there's some value to what it is you took the money out for. But the real question is, why does a man who made over $100 million in his career, especially with the Vikings, need to take out millions of dollars in loans? I can see if he was using that to buy some property, then it might make sense. But I can't get into that because I don't know all the details on it. But what I did hear about all this situation is that when he turned 30, the man spent a whole lot of money bringing guests to his 30th birthday party. For what I understand, he flew over 300 guests first class, and who knows where these guests came from. I'm sure maybe a few of them came from overseas. He flew all these people in first class. So if you're flying them first class, that means you're probably putting them up in a 5-star hotel. And if you're putting them up in a 5-star hotel, you're probably covering the incidentals like room service and whatever else they might want. Well, that seems kind of logical. But what it doesn't seem logical is, what sense does that make? If you're having a birthday party, it should be the other way around. Somebody should be throwing a party for you instead of you spending all your money to entertain them. Again, I've never seen $100 million. I hadn't seen 100,000. But that's fine. I can't speak on that, but I can speak on common sense. Take me, for instance. If I all of a sudden came into millions and people found out about it, I wouldn't have the same problem that these athletes have because my phone doesn't ring now. So what sense would it make for me to all of a sudden start entertaining a whole bunch of phone calls from people that hadn't been calling me all along? You didn't call before, so what do you want now? Makes sense, right? Well, a lot of people, they can't get away with that and they can't say no. Well, if you kind of like not being buzzed like some people I know, always walking around with the phone in their ear, that doesn't make sense to me. What are you talking about so much with all these different people? So again, if it happened to the point where I came up with a whole bunch of money, it would be easy for me because, like I say, my phone doesn't ring like that. But when you start thinking about these athletes when they get in trouble with money, it's because they got the sense, especially the big ones, making all these big money, especially these guys coming through now with the NIL in college. They already going to be used to money, but they're always going to feel like that money is going to be coming, so why not spend it? They do it all the time. They're going to blow it. The problem that they have, you get these big spending habits, and when the money stops coming, now you see how people really are. All those people that were hanging around you when you were spending money, you won't see them anymore. All those deals you used to get from people, on the strength that you're going to pay them back later, that's not there anymore. So now reality has struck, and the question is, what kind of position are you in to deal with it when you finally realize that the chips, they're not coming anymore? So where does it all come from? Well, that's an obvious answer. Once people realize that you can play a sport, they start getting ideas about what it is that you can do as far as making it on a professional level. And if you make it to a professional level, they already start thinking about what they can get out of it. And that goes all the way back to sometimes before high school. I see it right here where I am. Where I am, the teams, they're not winning right now. They don't win anything. And these guys walk around like, they own school. Never mind that you might have a 1.9 GPA and barely eligible from last semester. Never mind that your teams don't win, but you walk around like you own the place. So just imagine that some of these schools where they are winning, you can see how these people are going to accommodate these guys and treat them like they're bigger than what they really are. So as you develop this mindset, and now you go into college and you get NIL money, you're making a whole lot of money. So by the time you get to the pros, you've been making big money, and your entitlement in your head has grown. You spend, because it's been there, right? Can always be there, right? Well, reality, we all know that is not the case. And when you get a guy like AP, he didn't have the NIL money, so when he hit the pros, that was his first real taste of the big money. And not saying that all his decisions didn't make sense, but you can't tell me that spending all those plane tickets, bringing people to a party, that makes sense, and it does not. So what can he do? I don't know. Best thing for him to do is sell off what he can to pay off those debts so he can move forward, because the interest is going to kill him. And if he stays in debt, and he says he's not, if he stays in a situation where he can't get out of this, he even been better off not even playing pro ball and getting the job down to the factory, because he wouldn't be in the same kind of shape. You know, the guy at the factory, he might not have much money. He might have a $5,000-$6,000 loan, but he ain't handicapped like somebody on an $8 million loan. So it's sad to see that these stories keep repeating themselves. And again, he's not the only one. A lot of those guys that get on drugs and all kind of stuff happen to them. People abandon them and die from a broken heart, or do drugs because they can't deal with the pain. But the reality is, you should have learned that from the streets when you were growing up. Because if you didn't have it as a kid, and you see the way that people treated you, and when that started to change because you could play a sport, you gotta be able to recognize the difference. So I hope AP the best, and there's a very, very large sum to take care of, and like I say, I hope it works out for him. But anyway, it should be a cautionary tale for all these guys that are coming behind him. But the big thing is about all that, even with average people like myself, you can't tell me what to do with my money. And if you feel like you've made it, you really can't tell a guy what to do with his money, especially if they got more money than you got. So it's something that is an easy fix if people listen, because they have those NFL rookie symposiums before the year. So it's not like they didn't know. It's just, do you want to accept the information? And accepting the information after you've already gone broke, then the help probably is not going to be there for you. So it's just something to think about. But this has been Sports for Real.